liked you better with glasses.
Too bad. I like me better without them.
Hey, pretty fans. Welcome to the second episode of the Better with Glasses podcast. Today, which is July 14th, I am your host, Vicky Azalea, and with me is Casey.
Hey.
And we're back again.
Season 2, episode 2. If you listen to the first episode, we said that we were going to do it right after. But some things popped up unannounced. My cat went crazy and put a hole in my shirt and hit me in the lip with her claw. But we pushed through it, and here we are for the second episode. Second episode called
Love Scene.
Love Scene. Looking at it, definitely kind of picks up a little bit from where the first one was.
Yeah.
And then the third one picks up even more, but that's...
So where were we left
legit.
at the end of the first episode?
Jeremiah is going to go find Conrad.
Yeah.
And if you look at the books, you're expected that if you read the books, Jeremiah's going to go pick Belly up.
Yeah.
And then they'll go to Brown. But they're throwing a curveball.
We had a little time to sit on the first episode because we saw the first episode at the premiere. So we actually had a little bit of time to sit on it, and we had kind of talked about the abruptness of the ending, and we were kind of like, wait, is he gonna let her go with him? Because the main difference with the book is that they're on bad terms. Like, they're on awkward terms in the books, but the last scene we got from Jeremiah, to your point, we didn't get very much Jeremiah in the last episode, was like bad. Like, he's like, no, I'm not your best friend. Get out. So,
if you're thinking about it, they live in Boston.
Yeah.
Belly lives in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. You did say this.
And Brown it would be way out of the way to go from Boston to Philly to Brown.
Yeah.
So the way that they did it, and we'll go into the synopsis, makes a lot more sense in the actual TV show. Yeah.
And it works way better for where the characters actually are at this point, this season.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's mentioned in the first episode for everyone that we met at the premiere, and we got to hand out these cool little cards here.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. For the existing fans, love you guys. For the new fans, hope you're listening.
Yeah.
Two of them that we met, Liz, Allie, shout out.
Yeah.
And one of them won bingo. So
that's true.
That's cool. And shout out to all my other bingo winners, or all Vicky's other bingo winners out there. She handled the entire bingo operation.
Actually, real quick on the bingo side, guys, the way that we set it up was, yes, first 5. I guess it ended up being 6 because I legit got 2 messages at the exact same time, so I just had to give it to the 6th person too.
I goes to the runner, man.
I know, but you guys got bingo. That's great. You'll continue to get bingo as you get more episodes, more scenes, more things coming true, so to speak, from the bingo card. Keep filling them out. Keep sending them in, because I'm keeping track of everyone that does. And we're going to have a big raffle prize at the end of the season. So you have all the way between now to the end of August to still share and tag us in your bingo cards.
I got bingo.
He did get bingo. He will not be entered to win a prize, though. Sad face. Anyway, okay, so
run through it, girl.
You gonna run through it? Okay. All right. So we had Jeremiah calling Belly inviting herself to the trip to Brown, which is
Conrad's MIA.
Supposedly happened tomorrow morning. And then episode 2 opens up with Belly packing a bag.
Yep.
And it's like, you can tell they do so well with the lighting. You can tell it's like very early in the morning. Like, we don't really know what she's doing, where she's going, but she's sneaking out.
Yeah.
That part is true. She's sneaking out. And then the song is One Direction, Steal My Girl, which I was not expecting.
Yep.
Like, I could have guessed, obviously Taylor, but like Olivia Rodrigo and all that stuff. But
she gets a message from who? We don't know. It's like, I'm passing Connecticut. See you in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. So, and there's a picture in the message chain of Susanna, Jeremiah, and Conrad.
Yeah.
So It's very open to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And where does it go?
Yeah. It goes with her running down the stairs, and it's so subtle. It's so subtle. She's walking out the front door. I missed it the first time, but you can see the Christmas tree in like the right side of the frame. You can see the Christmas tree. That said, I didn't pick up on it until she walks out the door, closes the door, and you and I are both like, it's Christmas. And there was like half a second of confusion. We're like, it's actually Conrad. So like they tricked us. They tricked us. Sure. Usually the flashbacks are easy to tell, and it was so well done.
That's why for some people who don't know the books, etc., they could be like completely thrown for a loop in that instance.
Yeah. I mean, you figure it out.
You do figure it out.
Yeah.
My set designer out there.
Yeah.
No snow in Philadelphia on Christmas?
Oh yeah.
I would say like 90% of Christmases in the Northeast have some sort of snow remnants.
That's fair, but Conrad actually says it's like 30% chance for snow in Massachusetts. So if there's not snow in Massachusetts, there's definitely not snow in Philadelphia.
Yo, Philly.
And then it's like probably, I don't know, 80 degrees down here in Virginia.
All our Philadelphia fans out there know.
So then we have Belly. So this is another swerve that we weren't expecting, because we were talking about like, isn't it gonna be awkward? Okay, cool. So she's getting in the car with Conrad. There's some book stuff there that we'll talk about later, but they're driving off, and then it cuts to now Belly is on a different mode of transportation, which is a bus. So she's actually taking a bus to Brown.
Yeah, which makes sense because of the geography.
Yeah. Because you had even said it during our watch. Like, number one, it's out of the way. Number two, he's mad at her. He didn't invite her. He's not going to drive like out of his own way to go get her.
Facts.
Big facts. Okay. So then you get Jeremiah in the actual morning time leaving their house, and he's like calling people.
Have you ever taken a long bus trip?
Yeah, to New York.
From?
DC.
That's a long bus trip.
Yeah.
I've taken a long train. I've never taken a long bus.
When you're in high school and you don't have money, like
bus is the way to go.
It's $20 and you're in New York City.
I've done like bus trips for like sports teams, but never like hopping on getting the Greyhound. And
no, my friends and I would just be like, hey, you want to go to New York? Just
Belly out here, independent.
Yeah. Okay, so then what happens? Then Jared's calling everyone, right?
Yeah. Agatha, what's her name?
Aubrey.
Aubrey gets a call.
That's like a witch name.
My pretty. Yeah. That was a little like nugget. It's not. He says it like very lightly.
Yeah.
But when he's walking to the car, he says Aubrey.
Yeah, and then he just starts like calling everybody by their last name. So I can only imagine he's like calling the old football bros.
Yeah.
But one thing that I will say about that scene, it's a very quick scene, but Jeremiah, like he's calling people. You can tell he's like frazzled.
Mm-hmm.
Like phone just happens to like fall off of its like stand.
Oh, dude, he's on hair trigger this whole.
He is
whole episode.
Yeah, he's not right, and it's believable, right? Because of nobody else is right. So fun-loving Jeremiah is not okay either. So
no, he's not.
Okay, then what do we get? Then we get Steven and Laurel in the kitchen. So
the scene, the present day scenes keep going, and you keep getting a little bit further on in Belly and Conrad's winter trip.
Yes.
So that's kind of how the episode goes. That's how the structure is. There's one plot device timeline of the present day, and the flashbacks are all in one night. Yeah. Just like you get a little taste and a little more taste and a little more taste and a little more taste.
Yeah. This one was not that the first episode wasn't spliced together well.
It was just like 16 different timelines.
It was a lot. Yeah. This episode, because they did such a good job, it's 2 road trips happening at the same time.
Which is nice.
It's her in the passenger seat with 2 different guys, but it's a good, there's setups for it. So in present day, back at the Conklin house.
Yep.
Steven's waking up. He feels shitty about having yelled at Belly. She's not there. Laura's like, Oh yeah, apparently Taylor broke up with Milo. He's happy about that. And then they ended up going to breakfast, I think.
Yep.
But the only reason I say it's not a huge deal that they're going to breakfast, but it puts them in a spot to have some Taylor and Steven shenanigans that we love.
Yeah.
That we absolutely love from this episode. So I'm gonna tee you up for all your Sean Kaufman and Rain Spencer love. All right. Then cut back. We see Brown. So we see the sign for Brown.
Yeah.
And we know that well.
It's UNCW.
UNCW. We actually were there. We were not there when they were filming. But you see Brown University. And then what you see Belly calling Jeremiah like, "Oh, I'm here. Where are you?" They
brought you a coffee.
Oh my gosh, so awkward. I feel, I take it back. I feel like a little bit bad for her, but I don't know. Team Jeremiah in terms of like
Belly legit throws the coffees away.
Both of them.
Not just
Jeremiah's.
She throws both coffees away.
I think it's like
that's sacrilege.
It's
my hood.
Yeah. To throw coffee away. It never happened.
Never.
But
then they go and see the roommate, which is funny.
Yes, they go to see the roommate.
What's his name?
Trusky.
Good pull.
Yeah. I think his first name's Mike. Something.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's coming out of the shower, I'm assuming, and they're in. I don't know why Jeremiah was like rifling through his stuff because it's very evident that Conrad's bed is the other bed. And the guy comes, he's like, "Why are you like rummaging through rifling through my stuff?" He's funny.
He's really funny.
He's funny. He's not supposed to be a main character, but his beats are pretty good.
And from the first episode, we heard that he's a 5G conspiracy guy, and he makes a comment in that scene about it, and it's just really funny.
It's like, because the government is listening into our.
And then they bring the girl in, which she serves no purpose whatsoever,
other than
for the book people. For the book people, and there's a couple scenes throughout the episodes that we know of already, where they are catering to the bookies.
Yes, I like that. So you were actually saying yesterday when we were rewatching, you're like, let's look for Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And the Easter eggs of the show are really the book things.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, I still remember the description of that girl. Her name's Sophie. She's wearing sunglasses on top of her head. Like, even like down to the description how they had her dressed, it was spot on. So that was great. Before we move off that scene though, speaking of something in the book, because it can't happen, nor should it happen, the way that it happened in the book. You remember? She's looking through Conrad's stuff.
Yeah, then she finds the necklace.
And she finds the blue Tiffany's box.
Yeah, in this one, she finds it on top of the calendar. And the calendar, the necklace is right next to the date that says summer begins, which I think is a little Easter egg.
That is a huge Easter egg.
Yeah,
that was a good pull from you. Meanwhile, so Casey's looking at shit like that, and I'm just like, God, it's about her. And it's actually, can we talk about that a little bit? Agree to disagree.
Oh, Drewski.
Trusky
says some stuff about
Trusky's like, "Oh, you're
the Belly I've been hearing all about."
Yo, my man's fell into a depression after you all broke up, which it could have stopped there. Like the whole like, no, it was definitely your picture he was looking at.
Looking at your picture.
Yeah,
like psycho.
But I think it was overdone. I do think it was overdone, but I do think the context of the scene needed to happen because it does two things.
Okay.
Two things. We won't know why until episode 3, but Belly, when she's hurt by Conrad, has this like default setting of, oh, I'm such a fool. He never really likes me. I can't believe I'm under his spell. I won't let him hurt me again. He never really cared. Like, she quickly always defaults back to that. And
this was a little bit of affirmation
that he cared, and them breaking up like sucked for both of them.
When it's coming from someone else, it's not Like, she might not be able to believe Conrad, but when it's
Yeah.
coming from someone else,
Yeah.
gives you a reason to.
The other thing that I was thinking about, though, is that what does it do for Jeremiah? I think what it does for Jeremiah is if Jeremiah is going to make a move towards Belly, right? The same way that Belly and Conrad were careful about the Jeremiah thing, I think if he just heard that after they broke up, Conrad was depressed over it, he can't just assume, oh, he broke your heart. Fair?
Well, yeah, when he goes out to the car, he's concerned about Conrad, and there's a little nod to, like, if something happens to him. So I think Jeremiah's feeling is that, yes, he is depressed at the moment, whether it be the combination of Belly and Susanna or just Susanna.
Yeah.
I think he took that into consideration.
Yeah. Okay. Which gets to the scene where she asks if she can come to Cousins. So they find out he's in Cousins.
Yes.
They can't figure out who he was yelling at on the phone. They agree it's probably his dad. But then they're road tripping.
Yes, they are road tripping. Yeah. And is there anything in between there? Coco or whatever?
No. Okay. Coco is at the end, but so they start road tripping. There's not a lot that happens purposefully. There's supposed to be no dialogue.
Oh, yeah. They have some scenes that are awkward together in the car.
Yeah. It's awkward. She, this is taken from the book as well. He, like, makes he coughs or something, and she's like, oh, did you say something? And he's like, no. And then he feels bad because it's kind of like a diss. And then he just happens to say, like, an anecdotal, like, yeah, I went with my mom once to Cousins, like, not during the summer. Because right now it's not summer. It's technically, like, May, I guess. Yeah. And Belly says, so this is a key part. Belly says, yeah, I can imagine. Like, he's like, it's really weird being there when it's not summer. And she just says, yeah, I can imagine.
But she done it
but
herself.
She's done, exactly. Like, I don't know. It's not a lie, right?
No, some things don't need to be said.
Some things don't need to be said. But in an interview that Chris and Gavin did, I forget which one at this point, they talked about the dynamic between the brothers. And they were very open about the fact that, like, it's tough. Like, they're still brothers at their core. And there's some really good stuff in episode 3. But it's still very, very awkward. And even Jeremiah, when they're driving, he's like, we don't talk about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where was I going with that thought? I think it was Chris Briney who said, yeah, this season between the brothers is really about what they're choosing to say to each other and what they're choosing to not talk about to each other. And what they choose to talk about versus what they choose not to talk about is the divide. Like, that is the divide. And that's just an example of it, because then Belly gets, again, a flashback back to her driving with Conrad to the beach house. They haven't gotten to the beach house yet, but they're kind of talking about exchanging Christmas gifts or whatever. And the main point of that scene is when Conrad says, like, it doesn't matter what, like, I got my mom for Christmas. She's just so happy that you're my girlfriend.
Oh.
But do you know why that's important?
Because it's her last Christmas.
Oh, well, yeah, that is important. And also very sad.
Yeah.
But from the books, the Conrad and Belly thing, like, she goes back and forth all the time about whether it was official or not official. The things that happen in this episode, I think, make it pretty damn official.
Yeah.
But then also, he's using the word girlfriend.
He said it.
He
GF.
said GF.
He said, I put it on Facebook.
Which is
official.
It's funny that you're making fun of that, but that is legit what high school is.
Yeah.
Like, high school is like, are we exclusive? Are we together? Can I change
Facebook
my
official?
Facebook? Yeah, Facebook official. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal. Especially if mom knows. Okay.
Doesn't make it a flat tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
That scene sucked.
Casey did not. Did you not like the plot device of the flat tire?
Okay, the plot device isn't great as it is, because it's like,
I thought
you go through your whole life without having that happen like one time.
I thought like if they're
It was a little
gonna be that awkward,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking when I saw that they were pulled over on the side of the road in the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they had an argument. Like the tension in the car just got like too much.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm pulling this fucking car over and we're having it out.
That would have been fine. It would have been like, hey, I gotta take a piss. That would have been fine. Hey, the car's making a sound. But the flat tire, okay, you got a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
And then it does lend a one good joke to Jeremiah about the tire on the back of the car.
So that's not just
for decoration.
I thought, to Jeremiah's credit, I thought probably up until 5 years ago, 5 years ago, that was not the spare tire.
But apparently, Belly is an ace tire changer.
She learned from Laurel.
Okay. Yeah. And so Jeremiah makes his attempt at changing the tire,
but he's just so frustrated by everything.
Sure, but the Belly is like super aggressive and over the top, and like it's very volleyball scene with those two.
Oh, that's a good It's
very like
it is very volleyball.
It was very volleyball scene, and I'm like, chill out. And it's funny because I don't know what episode it is, but they did have that conversation also.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was
like she's kind of like badgering him. Yeah. He's choosing not to listen to her, probably because he's mad at her. And then it just reaches like the head. I have a thought on that.
I see where they needed to get to.
Yeah, I have a thought on that scene that I told you earlier. I'm gonna make that point as a part of a bigger story arc. But long story short, Belly just shouts like, "I'm sorry." He thinks she's still talking about this fucking tire incident. Mm-hmm. She's like, "I'm sorry for everything." He breaks down. They hug.
Yep.
She apologizes. She actually says that she feels really, really bad and guilty for more or less like ignoring him and leaving him behind.
Last summer.
Yeah.
That's what he's still upset about.
Of course.
Okay, so after the side of the road scene.
They
start they're kind of
opening up a
little.
Yeah. He hears her belly growl. Yeah. And she's all excited because she wants pie from Rosie's. It was a good addition because you and I do the exact same thing. Like when we're on a road trip, like from a place to a place that we've been before, we have all of our stops.
Yep. Fact.
And
move through. Shout out, move through.
Yeah, to the point where sometimes I get sad when I'm in fact not hungry as we're coming up to a place that we normally stop. Like, oh man, we made a mistake and ate at a McDonald's. I wasted my food pellets on a McDonald's.
I would have had another bingo if I would have just got McDonald's in one of the episodes.
You still could.
But I didn't.
You still could.
Well, now I know I'm not going to win anything.
Yeah. Well, speaking of big corporation drop, we forgot to talk about the fact that Steven runs into Taylor at the Barnes & Noble.
Oh, was that part of it?
Yeah.
I've got a note in here about that.
Yeah. So, so it cuts to them while Belly and Jeremiah are doing their road trip. So
love those crazy kids together.
Yeah.
Taylor has a great. She's just like so funny because she's faking the breakup.
Yeah, I need you to riff on this for.
I mean, I wish we could pull the clip up and play it, but
we probably can't.
She's covering for Belly because Belly's not supposed to be with her, but she's not really, and her reasoning was that
she's at Auntie Anne's.
Her reasoning was that her and Milo broke up, so now she's like throwing it into like over dramatic acting intentionally on being sad. And it's hilarious. And her and Steven have
great
chemistry, and it's like comedic, but there's also definitely the two actors have great chemistry.
Yeah.
One nitpick:
the
ice. There's no ice in Taylor's Starbucks.
Yeah, we think it's wildly unbelievable that Homegirl would get a venti latte of some sort. And
venti ice latte, no ice. They should just have a white cup. It's summer actually. Yeah. So you gotta have the ice. But venti, they probably did that take like 30 times. Maybe it started with ice. But
That's what I was gonna say. Like a hot Wilmington day.
yeah, I would have been like, I would have made note of it in the script. Like, Steven, do you want a venti latte, no ice? Do you want a sip of my venti latte, no ice?
And he'd be like, bruh, that's weird.
Bro, that's weird.
Yeah.
You're weird.
But the significant part of that scene is that she says that Belly is at Auntie Anne's, and then Steven
fucking love Auntie Anne's, man.
Yeah.
Auntie Anne's rules.
Yeah. So Steven's one step ahead of Taylor. He's just like, let me test this theory. Texts Belly, and Belly shoots herself in the foot because she's like, oh yeah, we're crying watching Titanic right now. So we're kind of going out of order at this point, but since we're on it, can we talk about the follow-up scene to Steven and Taylor? So cut from Starbucks, right? Then he finds out that Belly is in fact not with Taylor, so he goes to her house.
Oh shit! Great scene.
Another great scene.
It's like she ran out to get
Twix.
It's like, fucking Auntie Anne's Twix. What's the matter with you? It's like,
we're on our period, Steven.
Being gross. She's so good. She's so good.
She is in full like Taylor mode.
She's in her bag.
Yeah.
She's all up in her bag. It only gets better. It only gets better in episode 3.
But what you like, what you always say is her range, and just like Lola has to do quite often, and Jeremiah a little bit has to flip back and forth from like their baseline.
Some do it better than others.
Yeah, their baseline character, and then like showing deeper.
Yeah.
Right. And she does that. So
she's so seamless
because she's putting on the entire front, which is what the character is doing, right? The character is like overacting and lying and like being extra, but then when he calls her out on it, and he's like, I'm gonna call Jeremiah myself. I'm gonna go get Belly and bring her back home. She's like, look, dude, chill. Like, Belly needs to fix this stuff. Like, she has a lot of guilt around that situation. Those two guys, it may actually do her well to handle this on her own and just like let the chips fall where they may when she goes and sees these two.
Yeah, Taylor's a saint here.
Yeah. Now, Belly and Jeremiah have gotten to Rose's, which is the pie shop.
Yep, blueberry pie, and then we get a nice cameo from our old friend Nicole. Red Sox cap in tow.
The book girlies, and specifically the Jeremiah book girlies, will like the ESP thing. So they always talk about like they're really good friends, but they always would just be like, I'm gonna try to read your, and they've been doing this since they were like kids. So there's a nod to that. So there's that. Now that said, after Nicole leaves,
she sees the Cousins Beach sign, and she sees a Range Rover driving by, and it's like, I remember that car.
And then what music starts?
Is that
Deja Vu?
I get deja vu.
Yes. Which
Nailed
is
it.
the perfect song.
It is.
She's with one brother driving the path to the house, and the last time she did this exact drive was with his older brother.
That's an old trick, an old filmmaking trick. You use a pop song to describe what's going on in the actual film. I've seen it 1,000 times. It works every time.
It works on me because I was losing my shit. It's like, it's the perfect song.
You lose your shit.
I do.
Throughout all these episodes. I can't say anything during these episodes.
I know what he's going to say. Go ahead.
I can't say anything. I get to...
Every so often I'm like, do I need to pause this?
I need to pause this because...
I need to pause this so you can get your thoughts out. I do the same thing with audiobooks.
You get one word.
That's right. The audiobooks when we're driving, it's kind of like... But to be fair, when we're listening to a podcast that you're listening to, don't I always say, like, I'm like, hey, I have a thought. And I pause it. It's just like common courtesy.
All right.
For things that we deeply hear about. Anyway, okay. So we have finally made it to this part.
Oh, no. Not the part.
So you love this part because it's kind of like unlike the last episode where you said it was very, very slow and then started picking up and goes fast, I feel like this episode did the exact same thing, except when it starts picking up, instead of there being like 5 minutes left, there's like 20 minutes left. But then you just get like rapid fire back and forth between
having them on the road,
old cousins and new cousins.
Having them on the road speeds it up too, because there's a lot happening.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens after the deja vu is where the song ends is both cars are pulling into the cousin's driveway. One is when it's nighttime and it's winter and the hydrangea bushes or whatever are all dead. And then one is when Jeremiah and the red Jeep with her pull up.
Dun dun dun.
Dun 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 indeed. So then it cuts to the real Cousins and Christmas, which I've been talking to you about that. I talked to you about that before you even knew what I was talking about because you hadn't listened to the second book yet.
Yeah. So great scene. Belly looks great. She's got Conrad's sweater on. She looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
Her and Conrad go in. I don't look if there's food. Maybe there's a bag of Oreos or something.
Yeah.
Box of Oreos.
And what is she?
She's very happy. She finds Coco. Conrad's lighting the fire. Perfect scene. All of it's perfect.
I like when he's like, I'm having a hard time lighting this fire. She's like, weren't you like an Eagle Scout or something?
I mean, I think the Conrad, I'm not like the goo goo gaga over it, but I think from the Christmas pickup until the end, it's flawless.
They're like them together.
Them together, it's flawless.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's
like if you're judging the Conrad, and at this point, season 1 and 2, the Conrad and Belly scenes are better than the Jeremiah and Belly scenes.
I think so.
That could change.
I think so.
But at this point,
if what you're looking for is chemistry and romance and cuteness,
sure,
and also just a very,
No, I think that's going to change because of what we know or come to expect.
Yeah.
What we hear.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Chris and Lola just like have a comfort with each other for these scenes and the back and forth of it. It's like it's very evident.
So then it starts snowing, and she makes the cocoa.
Well, can we talk about the cocoa when she
pulls
out the cup
that we have at my parents' house? That Christmas cup, the red one with the green. I think it's Wachterbach is the brand. It's like a German brand. But my mom has a set of them, and we use them every Christmas, and I recognize it right away. And I almost got as happy seeing that as the mystery song in episode 3.
we'll talk about that.
And so on the next episode.
Yes, we are.
But that was really exciting.
What I thought you were gonna go with, which I don't know why you would have, but
the Simpsons Cup.
So everybody wanted to see if there was gonna be a Simpsons Cup. So it was so funny for me because I'm like, she's pulling out 2 cups, right? Imagine me sitting there. She's pulling out 2 cups. One, I also recognize. So I'm like, oh my God, that's your mom's cup. Because his mom has like this entire set. And every time we go to your house for Christmas, like it's that exact same cup. But then I'm also like, wait, but the Simpsons cup.
I'm trying to find the Simpsons cup on eBay.
I can't say that I've ever been excited about cups that were randomly pulled out of a cupboard before.
There are way too many Simpsons cups on eBay.
You gotta match them up.
Damn. I remember it looks like it's got it drawn like horizontally on the thing. Anyway. Dusty ass Coco.
So so he's lighting the fire. She goes in, she puts down his cocoa, she sits on the couch. He's just like looking at her. She's like, do you want your cocoa? He goes and sits down. In the book, he sits on the chair and she says the same thing. She's like, why are you sitting so far away? He moves closer. He starts to like lean in and kiss her, and she doesn't freak out. She's just like, oh my God, do I have like cocoa on me? And then there's like a little awkward tension.
The awkwardness is cut by the
snow. Yeah, by the snow.
The snow is fun. They frolic.
I almost like that better than the like more intimate scene that's forthcoming.
Okay.
Like the song is okay. So everybody, do you want to talk about you scrolling through TikTok and
I don't know where I was.
People being.
I don't talk.
You don't talk.
I don't talk.
Oh,
I can't remember where I was.
You said somewhere. You're like.
It was in the YouTube comments of. YouTube comments. a lot of fans aren't happy that it wasn't Snow on the Beach by Taylor Swift.
Instead, it was
Dangling by a string or something like that.
no, invisible string.
Invisible string.
Invisible string.
Can you sing a little piece of that?
No, I won't. But it was. I almost nominated it as our wedding song.
Damn, what could have been?
What could have been? I know. Imagine that. And I say that, right, in like sort of a romantic way, because that was the first thing I thought when I heard the song. Because I was also expecting Snow on the Beach, and I'm just gonna give credit to Jenny again.
It's better than Snow on the Beach.
The song itself is. I like the song better than Snow on the Beach. I think we were all just kind of like fooled.
It's
by, like,
too obvious.
It's
maybe.
too. Yeah, it was almost too obvious, and Jenny did not give it to us. But I do think she gave us.
Yelena.
But she gave us something pretty incredible, because I would not have thought Invisible String would have worked in that scene, and it did.
It did. They were all elastic on there on the beach.
Oh my god, yeah. So running out to the beach, like them pulling on like all the stuff. Like I've done that before, where it's like when you're a kid and it's snowing, and you're for whatever reason you're afraid it's gonna stop snowing, so you like throw on all your shit as fast as humanly possible so you can get out there. That's what that reminded me of. They get onto the beach, and it's so right with the times, because I do the same shit. It's like, well, wait, no, before we run out to the beach, let's take a selfie. Like, that's cute. It's a picture that she was looking at on her phone in the present day.
That picture's been going around.
Yeah, particularly on the Better with Glasses pod.
Okay,
story.
I don't know.
That's probably where you saw it. Reposted from somebody else.
I know.
But no, I like the frolicking, because there's no kiss, by the way. He picks her up, no kiss. They get to the house, no kiss. He leans in to try.
Little
awkwardness. So there's no kiss yet.
They're safe.
And they're like leaning in, and he pokes her and is like, tag. And then there's this cute little like montage of them like chasing each other on the beach. Like he picks her up. That
was a good catch.
She falls into the sand. Very similar to in season 1 when they belly flopped her. And she's like, give me a hand.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She knows he's going to fall for it every time. She's like, give me a hand. And she pulls him in. So that was a nod.
True that.
It's not the same thing.
I thought the same thing.
So, yeah, all that was super duper cute. Now, it's hard to talk about in chronological order, because what I love most about that scene, even though I love Conrad and Belly, I actually like what you like about that scene, is it's interspersed with Jer frantically going into the house, searching for Conrad. You hear his voice on top of the montage and on top of the song, just being like, Conrad, where are you? And then he finds him.
It's Jer's best scene.
He's
in a while. Yeah, in a while. I thought it was believable. He walks in, he's like, Connie, you here, bro? Something like that. It's Jer's best scene in a while.
And you can tell when he's found him, because he's like, when I call you, fucking pick up your phone. Yeah. Like, so there's this like happy song, happy moment interspersed with like this drama, and it all converges at the same time. And I think that maybe even makes it more emotional. And then Jeremiah went right into the house first. He didn't care about Belly or anything like that. Belly's still standing at the front of the door.
She is.
Because she's rightfully nervous. He doesn't know she's coming. She hasn't seen him since the funeral. And the last time she walked through those doors, like, apparently
it was a great time.
She lost her virginity. So, spoiler. So there's a good cut. She finally has the nerve. She walks in. She hears them kind of like arguing. She looks up and she sees the 2 pictures of them. And then it flashes back to when her and Conrad are walking back into the house.
Yada, yada, yada. They just as we predicted, they took it to further than they do in the books.
Yeah.
Conrad and Belly get horizontal. Great scene.
It's a beautiful.
It's really beautifully done. The music is great. Belly gives enthusiastic consent like 35 times. Like,
which we talked
Kristen
about.
Arjona, you had her on there, and I was like, that's one of the things.
Yeah, intimacy coordinator from last season. Yeah, last season told us. Yeah.
And great scene. Very romantic.
It's very romantic. It's sometimes I fear scenes like that where there's too much dialogue, because then it just kind of seems like
they had it in front of the fire. It was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right.
But I guess what I'm saying is the dialogue was like really good. I think I told you, I'm like, there were a couple of beats that Conrad as a person in that moment needed to hit for his character, and that Chris Briney needed to deliver in a very convincing way, which was the first.
I didn't just bring you here for this.
I didn't just bring, so that's one of them. Like, I didn't just bring you here for this. The other is like when she puts her hands on his face and he kind of like shudders and she says he's cold-hearted. I remember you're like, hey, hon, that's like you. And he says, it's in the book, but he says, like, maybe for everyone else, not for you. Which is like a romantic thing that is said, which kind of catapults the rest of it. Then they start kissing.
It's like the Grinch.
Yeah, they start kissing, and then he kind of pulls back, like he knows where he wants it to go, but he just kind of pulls back because he's like, hey, so we should stop, right? Like, we should stop. And she's like, well, no. So yeah. You were saying you didn't think that they would do the scene, like that scene would be that long.
I thought they were going to
like a quick cut.
Well, like
that the point came across.
The point came across. I didn't know they were going to take like have Belly, from the back,
like disrobing.
Disrobing. Yeah. Good word.
Yeah.
But it all worked. It was tasteful.
Well, I will say, not like the disrobing is, yes, it's tasteful, but when he's unbuttoning the front of her sweater or whatever, revealed. Yeah, like that. I thought that was good. It's such like a touch of detail that's like so incredible. It was great. It was so good. And the song, did you know that song?
No.
Okay. But you said that the song felt right for...
Yeah, the song felt so on point.
Yeah. It's a song from the 90s.
It seems
I don't know the song. I didn't even know the name of the song. I didn't know who sang the song. Obviously, I looked it up afterwards.
It's like...
But I knew where it was from. So it's from, I think, the Romeo and Juliet from 1996 with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes.
Yeah, it's like...
huge smash. That's why it's profound.
So next, you get your book quote that you love so much, that everyone loves so much that they put on a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Even though Conrad's asleep and has no idea what's going on.
No, Casey was like, why would she say that why wouldn't she say that when he's awake? Like, I get it. But confessions of love, nonetheless.
Yeah.
But tie-in. So we knew it immediately, right? When they stumble into the house and we're like, oh, they're gonna have sex because he's wearing that same shirt.
Yes, and then that's the shirt that she's gonna end up wearing.
That she's gonna end up wearing at the end of that scene, and then she kept the shirt. It's like literally hanging in her closet. So, and I have a thought on that.
Okay.
So one thing we didn't talk about is that Steven and Taylor, I think, have decided to embark onto cousins themselves.
Yeah.
And I think Taylor says something to the effect of like, no, I'll be fast. I'll pack, but I'm going to send you a list of things to get for Belly. I'm wondering, it's just a random thought, but I'm wondering if Steven brings her that shirt.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know, Conrad sees her with it, or she sees it and it triggers like some other feelings or flashback.
I had a note in here. So one thing we might have missed, that in episode 1, I did some things that I thought should be cut.
Mm-hmm.
We missed the Laurel in the store
Yeah.
scene with the.
Yeah.
I thought the saleswoman was take her
Meh.
or leave her. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was meh. Could have cut that out. We get it.
It could have been like a Belly flashback, right? It could have been like, oh, she's looking at a dress and it makes her think of Susanna.
Yeah.
Or it could have flashed back to it. I would love to see Laurel flash back to a Susanna and Laurel moment.
Good thinking.
That would have been way more beautiful than just like insert this person who's going to make a comment about your dress.
They're also trying to give her credit as a popular writer too.
That's true.
Best musical moment in the old Hootenanny.
But am I picking the scene that I like the most? Like, what gets more weight? The scene that I like the most, or the scene that, or the song that I like the most? Like, where's the crossover?
No, it's not. It's not which song would you play outside of the show on your car.
I know, but
which song, which moment is the best. I'd say Deja Vu, because I feel like that scene could have been, the lovemaking scene could have been great with a million different lovemaking songs.
Yeah. Well,
you could have inserted any other piano ballad in.
Because the scene is so good.
The scene is so good.
I will say, if we're thinking about it from that angle, damn, I'm about to pick 2 Olivia Rodrigo songs 2 episodes in a row, because Driver's License did it to me too.
I mean, come on, this is what.
When I heard that come on, it was like a, oh shit, because if you know the song and you know where this is headed. I waited 9 months to see Christmas and Cousins, and most of the episode up to that point had been the road trip. So when she sees the sign that says 5 miles to Cousins, and you hear the Deja Vu beat drop, and then you know it's flashing back to Belly and Conrad, and they're getting to the house, all of that anticipation that I've been carrying for like 8 months was like, oh shit, like we're gonna see it. But last thoughts for me.
Okay.
I said this to you earlier, and I'm gonna stand by it. This show is so direct and knows what it's doing that, like, I do think that you can watch it 5 times and see things in different ways. Because when I watched it the first couple of times, it's like literally like Belly is losing her virginity to Conrad, and there's Christmas. Like, there's nothing else on the first watch that was more important to me than that.
Okay.
Right? Like, and the more that I've watched it, like the scene between Jeremiah and Belly is so important to the plot of the second season. So whether or not you agree with Belly being with Jeremiah or not, or them getting closer, we come to find out in episode 3 that as good as all this stuff was with Conrad, when he's happy, when he is unhappy,
goes off the rails.
He goes off the rails. Now, it's different because when Jeremiah is unhappy and Jeremiah is very emotional. When he's happy, he's happy. He's on like fucking cloud 9.
Yeah.
When he is mad, like we saw in this episode, he's got a short fuse, and we saw it a lot. But he's very emotional. And there's a part of Belly, I think, that likes that because he says what's on his mind.
Yeah, she knows where he stands. She stands.
She always knows where she stands. And she knows because he tells her what he wants her to say, and she says it. And there's something about that that's very simplistic for Belly, who, unfortunately for her and for Conrad, as great as it is when things are good, when things are bad for Conrad, we say that he's a jerk, but unlike Jeremiah, who actually like says hurtful things, Conrad just blows her off, which is like, or I guess pushes her away, which is sometimes even worse. And I think she it won't click until you've watched episode 3. But what clicked for me, which is what I told you, is from Belly's perspective when she is crying and apologizing to Jeremiah for not communicating with him, for saying she spent all of her time worrying about Conrad. I think the undertone of what she's saying is, I spent all this time trying to be there for somebody who ended up putting up walls and pushing me away for nothing. And here you are telling me that all you really wanted from me was to be there for you. Good thinking. Right? And it's like what you said in season 1, even though it's kind of childish, it's like, oh my God, I chose the wrong brother. Or it's like, even from a friend standpoint, like I was trying to be there for this other person, put all of my heart, soul, time, and attention into that. And it fucking backfired on me because he didn't let me be there. And meanwhile, I had this other person who's mad at me and I wasn't there for them. And I totally let them down. And
all he wants is for me to be there.
Exactly. And he tells her that.
Very thoughtful.
But that's like a point in the Jeremiah column. But it also shows that like the two main flaws of these two guys is that Conrad's default is always to
isolate,
and Jeremiah's, I guess, default is
not being Conrad.
It sucks to say it like that. It's not being Conrad.
But if you're looking through the eyes of Belly, that's where Jeremiah has fallen short.
It's almost like who needs and deserves more attention, the squeaky wheel, the person who you have to save from himself, which is more like Conrad, or the person who plays it off.
Yeah.
Right? Like Jeremiah is hurting.
But he's always the fun guy.
He always just like brushes it off. Like when they're at the car and he's like, I don't need you. And she knows he needs her.
Good point.
But he's just like, I don't need you. I'm good. I don't want to be roped into Conrad shit. Like his default is to play it off.
Yeah.
And because he plays it off, it backfires on him because nobody thinks he takes anything seriously. Whereas Conrad's fault is just, kind of like shrinking into himself. But because people know that he does that, or at least take the back, because Belly knows he does that, she is always trying to be like knight in shining armor for him.
They both need a good therapist.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask it in episode 1, but picking up on some of the things we did last season, who do you think won the episode?
Episode 1?
Well, yeah. Well, since we missed episode 1, you do episode 1, I'll do episode 2. I need some time to think.
Okay.
So you go first. Episode 2.
Oh wait, I got it. Okay. No. Are you gonna say episode 2? We can say it's Belly.
No, episode 2. I'll say we can say it's Conrad.
Oh boy. Well, I was gonna say episode 1 is Conrad. So Jeremiah was barely in it.
Yep.
Steven fucks up in it.
Mm-hmm.
Belly is sad in it because she has to play current.
It's Conrad.
Time. She has to play current time and past. But
you're right.
If you just splice out, like, what if you took somebody off the street who had never seen The Summer I Turned Pretty ever before, and made them watch the episode, and then have them describe Conrad? They'd be like, he's just the happiest
guy. Yeah.
Like,
jovial.
He's so open about his feelings.
That's right.
And it's like, he's the best version of himself in all of those things.
Good point. Conrad wins episode 1. So it might not be able. I would say he wins episode 2 because they had a very special moment.
Yeah.
Him and Belly. But since he won episode 1, maybe it should be Jeremiah, because Jeremiah finally, he's been holding this shit in for so long.
Yeah.
And he finally was able to get it out.
Yeah.
He learned how to change a tire, possibly.
Or he learned, I'm always going to call it AAA.
Yeah, I'm always going to call it AAA, and I can't be in stressful situations with Belly. So it could be Jeremiah. He got all this stuff off his chest.
I think Taylor won the episode.
I was going there. Taylor is just coming in throwing 95.
Yeah.
In every scene.
Oh, can I tell you something?
Sure.
Can I tell you something? Sorry. I need to read it directly.
Okay. Did she get nominated for an Emmy or something?
No.
Because I'm okay with it.
You're okay with that? Okay. So, hi, Vicky and Casey. So glad to have found your podcast a few weeks ago after watching. I'm very late to the party. Blah, blah, blah. Love you guys. Already counting down for the podcast to be released. Some great Steven moments in there for you, Casey. And then somebody else was like, Steven or Sean Kaufman's acting this season is like on another level. And I know that Casey's so happy about it. Like people
know my
people know.
Yeah, people know. So
people know.
I mean, I've been saying it for years. Sean Kaufman is gonna. So this is what I've been telling Vicky in private.
Okay, but you can say all these things, but then I'm going to ask you, once you're done saying them, your little love letter to Steve-O here.
I think it's love letter to Steve-O and Taylor.
Does he win?
Taylor could be in. We just saw a movie Joyride, which is like a funny, kind of raunchy all-girl comedy.
It's really funny.
Taylor could be in that and kill.
Yeah.
And then again, Taylor could be in The Summer I Turned Pretty. And then again, Taylor could be in that
Good Girl Jane
movie. And I think she's just got wide range. I think she's going to have a great career playing meaningful roles that have real meaty dialogue and meaty stuff. Steven, the same thing. Steven's got a great look, and he could play comedy. Like he could be in Crazy Rich Asians. You know?
Yeah.
He could be in The Hangover. He could be in the sky's the limit for my man. He's 6'4", big guy, comedy chops, drama chops, from New York. He's got and he's taking it to the next level.
Yeah. Okay. So just because we've already seen episode 3, I'm just gonna say, yeah, you might need to save your
Okay. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna chill out. Another episode bigger.
He's better in.
He's gonna win another episode bigger.
He's already better in 3, but
yeah, he can win another episode bigger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave this win for Jeremiah.
Grabbing
the bull by the horns, going out, trying to find his brother, getting his feelings off of his chest, belly.
Yeah.
I'm giving episode 2 to Jer.
Yeah, bygones are bygones.
Putting bullshit to the side.
Yeah, and he's like deeply concerned about Conrad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jer wins number 2. Directed by Zoe Cassavetes again. Back to back. Quick note. It was episode 1 was an 8.8 on the rating last time we saw it. Some less hardcore fans are getting in on the action because it's dropped.
8.6?
8.5.
Oh.
So okay. Our ratings still hold true here.
Okay. That one was worse than the others.
That 1 is the worst, 2 is the second worst, and Love Sick number 3 is the best. But Love Scene has an 8.9 right now, which has the second highest rating. Number 3 is the best. Yeah. This one is number 2, and the first one is number 1. So, Better with Glasses Pod on Instagram, betterwithglassespod@gmail.com. You want to keep the conversation going?